everybody, I am Tiffany and today I'm doing a movie review. Woo! I know it's been a little bit since I've had a movie review and I am sorry. I don't really have movie reviews to edit because I really haven't had time to watch a movie in a really long time, which is weird for me because usually it's the opposite where I watch too many and then they all get blah in my brain. This is the most recent movie I've watched. The movie I am reviewing today, for people who know me personally, this will be a shock that I actually watched this. I've said it many times on my channel. I don't do horror movies. I like the ones that get the adrenaline pumping, but don't outright scare me and give me nightmares at night. I value my sleep. So of course, I've been loving work at the movie theater because of Annabelle and now It coming out. It's been fabulous. So wonderful having two scary movies in my theater. It was one of those movies that I was gung-ho about never seeing in my life because it looked terrifying. I already don't really like clowns that much, so why would I watch a movie that basically makes clowns the worst possible thing on the planet? No offense to clowns out there. But this one is creepy. Then I started looking at the reviews and I heard from my coworkers that it was more unsettling than outright scary, had a little bit of a comedic element to it, kind of a Stranger Things feel. So I decided to suck it up and go watch this movie. So today I am doing a movie review on it because I got the courage to go watch it, and that's big for me. Before you ask, no, this outfit has no correlation whatsoever. I did not want to dress up anything remotely related to it, so I decided to wear yellow because it is the color of sunshine and happiness. Sorry to disappoint you people who probably thought I would wear clown makeup or clown nose. I'm going to stick to sunshines and happiness. I really enjoyed it. For a person who hates horror movies, I loved it. It had a really good storyline, and that's the thing with some horror movies sometimes, is that they don't have a really strong, in-depth storyline, or don't really have a good message. It's about scaring you and making you cry. And keep checking under your bed to make sure there's not a creepy doll down there for some reason, or somebody put a Ouija board in your house. So it was really refreshing to be able to go and see this movie and see it have a really good storyline with it. It was scary. I jumped out of my seat a lot, but I loved the storyline along with it, and that's what kept me going through the movie. I was terrified, but it was a good terrified. For those of you who don't know, this movie, it is actually based off a novel by Stephen King. I have not read it. I don't know if I want to because books are in more detail than the movies, and the movie was decently scary. I don't know if I could sit and read a book alone in my house because part of me feels like I'd just be expecting a clown to pop up. But the book is really supposed to be fantastic, and it is kind of in two parts. So the first movie correlates with the first part of the book, which is when they're kids. The next movie that comes out for it is going to follow them as adults. So it's how the book goes. It sticks pretty close to the book from what people have told me. For those of you who want statistics, it has an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb right now. It deserves the 8.1. Don't get me wrong. It's just so terrifying. Very intriguing. It kept me on the edge of my seat the whole entire time. I think it definitely deserves that. I don't know if it's going to go up or down, sideways, who knows. For those of you who want the cast, it stars Bill Skarsgård, who plays the clown. That's all I'm going to do for him. By the way, if I pronounce names wrong, I'm sorry. It stars Jaden Lieberher. I can't pronounce his last name. Finn Wolfhard, who is the kid from Stranger Things. Sophia Lillis, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Chosen Jacobs, Jack Dylan Grazer, and Wyatt Olaf. Those are your main group of kids in the movie. It has a lot of other awesome people. It's a lot of child stars and seeing them really get their breakthrough so young. It's really cool. For those of you who have no idea what it is about whatsoever, besides that maybe it's a Stephen King novel, it is about these group of kids who live in a town called Derry, where kids and adults go missing left and right. More kids than actual adults. And they're trying to figure out why. There's a creepy clown involved in this mystery, as people know, and that's really all I'm going to tell you. Go watch the movie and get scared to death, alright? Okay. That is really all I can tell you without spoiling you. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the spoilery section. Thank you so much, non-spoilery people, for joining me. Go watch this movie. It is really good. If you're a big horror fan, you're going to love it. Even if you're not a big horror fan, this is one of those I would say probably watch, just because the storyline is really good. It's not one of those random horror movies that is just there to scare you. There's a message behind it too. I will see the next one when it comes out because I swore on this channel that I would watch the sequels to movies if I start a movie. I'm going to be torturing myself again next year. Thank you so much for joining me, non-spoiler people. Go watch the movie and then come back and we can talk and discuss and be scared together. Bye non-spoilery people, don't let a creepy clown come into the picture. Spoilery section time. I gotta say, the first scene in the movie, which is very iconic, made me almost want to leave the theater. Like I said, I don't do horror movies. I don't mess with them because I will cry like a baby. I won't be able to sleep for probably a solid month. When the first scene happened, even though I knew it was going to happen, I really questioned if I should have said yes to seeing this movie. They did it so well, and it was so creepy, but it was so good. And I especially was excited to see that scene because even though I didn't see the original mini TV series that was on it, I knew that scene. I had seen it on the internet and watched it. It was a very iconic opening scene. I was really excited to see how they did it compared to the original. I did not expect that boy's arm to be chopped off. I expected him to be pulled into the sewer. I did not expect his arm to be chopped off. I was so scared after that, and I literally was sitting there with my head in my lap thinking, Tiffany, what the heck have you done to yourself? One thing this movie really likes to do is catch you off guard at really random times, but at the same time, it flows so effortlessly. It's a really weird combination. These kids are just living their everyday lives, and then stuff keeps happening to them. The first hallucination, really, where the hands are reaching out of the door, I was so creeped out. Every single hallucination got me. Every single one. I think the one that got me the most, though, was the one in Beverly's bathroom. She is in there minding her own business, trying to get away from her father, and then all of a sudden, she hears the voices in the sink. In the sink! I'm going into this thinking, you just have to stay away from sewers. But no, of course not. Instead, she gets blood all over her, and this thing just reaches out and grabs her and kind of tries to pull her into the sink. And I'm like, what? I'm just freaking out and thinking, what in the world is happening right now? I don't get it. They're supposed to be safe in their house. That is the rule. One thing about my shower in my bathroom is that it has a constant dripping of water on days where the sprinklers are going off in our yard. Imagine when I got home after seeing that scene, seeing the dripping water. I was thinking the whole time, I better not hear voices while I'm brushing my teeth or I'm gonna flip out. In most horror movies, you kind of have a safe spot, in a way. There's a series of events that happens that leads to this certain person being in danger. And there was no safe spot. Everywhere you went, it could go. It literally came out of a projection. And all of these kids are innocent. Most horror movies, these people who die are not innocent. All of these kids are innocent and they're being tortured. I kept expecting them to die and they didn't die, but I was still really terrified for them. And I did not like that there was no safe spot anywhere in this town. I mean, it made the movie a genius movie, but still, I was terrified everywhere. I will say that these characters were pretty smart characters overall. They didn't make too many stupid decisions, but they still made some stupid decisions. When something scary happened, such as the Easter eggs in the library, what does the kid do? He doesn't go, this is strange, I should probably just leave. He decides to gather the Easter eggs and go see what the heck it is. You don't go near it, and you see the shadow run by, and he still goes near it. What is wrong with this kid? Why in the world would you go near it? I would run in the opposite direction as fast as I could. I don't get it. At the end, I understood they had to face their fears in order to beat this thing. But the first time the hallucination comes up, they didn't know that. They could have ran. But no. All of the character developments I thought were pretty good. Some characters were definitely developed more than others. Bill, I really liked Bill. He was very sweet. I didn't know he would have a stutter in here, and I thought it was really cool how they utilized that, but he was just a very lovable, sweet character, and he's the one, of course, that you get the most background on because his brother, Georgie, is the one that disappears in the very, very beginning. I really hoped he would have saved Georgie. He sadly doesn't, and I was really sad. I thought he would. Of course, the kid from Stranger Things, his character was Richie. He was the comic relief throughout this whole entire thing, and he did perfect. Him and the kid who played Eddie, both of them were just fantastic together. I loved them. It was fabulous. And I really did like how each of the characters, in a way, you maybe didn't get a full-on backstory, but you got enough information to figure out what was going on. The most intriguing character for me was Beverly. I just felt the actress did an incredible job in it. She was just really intriguing throughout. I couldn't wait to cut back to Beverly and figure out everything that was happening. Did not like her dad. That was You could tell what was happening immediately in the first scene. And that was one thing I loved about this, is you could just get hints of their life by little subtle things. You don't have to say it outright. You get it. The only character I feel like they didn't do enough development on was Stanley. You got that he was Jewish and that he was going to have his bar mitzvah soon, and that his family was really bugging him and his dad was probably pretty controlling. But you didn't get his whole family dynamic, where the others you kind of do. Except for Ben, who's the new kid. You don't see his family aspect, but you still get enough character development with him that he stands out a lot in this group of children, where Stanley doesn't as much. The actors still did an absolutely fantastic job. All of these actors did incredible. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Clown. He was so terrifying. But at the same time, he infused this humor in it, which I loved so much. I would find myself, when he was attacking the kids, terrified but laughing at the same exact time. Because the way he played the clown was so maniacal but funny and awesome. And it was intentional that way, and I just loved it. The thing he does with his eyes, he can actually do that apparently, which blew my mind when I found that out. How do you have that much control? That's insane. Now, the thing that really got me about this story was the message that it invoked in people, which was to overcome your fear. The only way to defeat this thing was not to fear it. To overcome the hallucinations, you have to face it. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And looking back, it probably makes sense then why those kids didn't get kidnapped and die, because even though they were scared, they faced those hallucinations. They went towards it. They followed the Easter egg hunt for some reason. They turned around when the creepy old lady was standing there. When other kids who did try to run away from their fear ended up being captured, and he fed off of it. And I really, really liked when they went in there and went to attack it. As much as the hallucinations were scary and you felt like they were in danger, it was still really cool to see them overcome all that they were afraid of and defeat this thing. Face your fears and don't be afraid of them, because fear can very easily control your life and make you afraid to go out and live your dreams or live your life. Fear is a monster, basically. The more afraid you are, the stronger the monster gets. The less afraid you are, that monster just dwindles and dwindles, and it will eventually be defeated because there's no more fear. In life, you do have to face that, and you have fears about following your dreams even, or random little stuff, and you have to overcome that in order to live life. Take chances, take risks, and don't let that fear control you and make decisions for you. I don't get why Beverly chose Bill over Ben, because Ben is the one that wrote the poem. I would go with the guy who wrote the poem, but I love Bill and I love Ben. And I wonder in the later part of it if there's going to be conflict with that when they're older. Kind of a little love triangle going on. But I am glad that they clarified that the adults don't really help and they ignore what's happening, because that was one thing that bugged me at first in the film, was that the adults weren't really involved, they weren't really paying attention. And I'm just glad they talked about it instead of just kind of us sitting at the end of the movie wondering, where were all the adults in all of this? The main bully, he was really scary. I thought he was going to be more essential to the plot. He does kill his dad, but I really did think it was going to use him more with hurting the main group of kids. He did try to kill one, but I thought he was going to be kind of a minion of it throughout the film, and it would use him to kind of do dirty work in a way, or at least instill fear so that it could eat and feast on the kids. But he died pretty quickly after he killed his father. I do wish his character would have stayed alive just to cause a little bit more conflict throughout, but at the same time I'm glad he's dead because he was one creepy person. That is really all I have to say about this movie. It was overall really good, and I am glad that I went to see it and faced my fears of that movie and seeing it. Let me know what you think of the movie. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions on it all. If there's any other type of movie or book you'd like me to watch or read, let me know in the comments below. I love all of your suggestions, so don't be afraid to put more suggestions in. I do write them all down. I have a lot of the books you guys have requested. It's just taking me a while to get to them because I have a system, but I have a system to make sure I get through all my books. They are coming! I promise you! Movies, I do try and watch the ones you request. There are some that I watch sooner than others because some happen to be on Netflix and I don't have to pay for them or anything like that. But I will watch it eventually. I really, really will. And I have all of them on my phone on a little list for you. If you also have any other type of video you want to see, like a Q&A or a book tag or a movie tag, also let me know. I will definitely do those for you if you would like. Thank you for joining me today. I post movie reviews on Wednesday, I post book reviews on Saturday, and fun little videos of vlogging and special events and fun tags and everything if I have any on Monday. Have an awesome day, evening, afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and don't forget to be awesome. Go watch it, enjoy it, and tell everybody else to see it as long as they are okay with scary movies. Goodbye!